Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So I've had a look at tomorrow's racing and I've found a few horses that I'm quite keen on, to be honest. Starting off in the 115 at Ascot, and I do like this Scarface for Joe Tizard. I actually think they had another horse that could have been in this race, Triple Trade, who actually won this race last year, but they've decided not to run Triple Trade, and they've just left Scarface, or they just put Scarface in it. They ran Triple Trade last week at Cheltenham, and he disappointed. But Scarface is one that I feel could be, might have just bumped into some horses this season. Starting off at the beginning of the season, finishing 5th on his return behind Calico, Matata, Dancing on My Own, Coast Guard Station. Now, the front two, Calico was really well handicapped. Matata has since done well, has come out and reversed that form, and then went close on his third run. Dancing on My Own is a former very good horse, and I just feel that was a comeback run from Scarface. He then went to Exeter for the Holden Gold Cup, probably a better race than this. He finished 4th of 5. JPR1 is probably a graded horse. Jello has won a graded race since. Sons Bruet, I know they think that horse is still well handicapped. He's since finished 3rd again at Ascot. I think finishing 4th there wasn't a poor performance from Scarface. And then last time out, I thought he franked that form again over a little bit further when finishing 2nd behind Le Patron and in front of Galop de Chasse, who actually reopposes here. Now, Le Patron may well have just been one of those handicap blots that they got his handicap mark a bit wrong. After beating Colonel Harry in a grade 1, he then went to 2 subsequent grade 1s, got beat in those, and then dropped into handicap company. It could have just been that there was a graded horse running in a handicap in Le Patron. Now, Scarface was given a pretty good kind of clever ride in that they never got too close. And because of that, the handicapper actually left him off 130 on 130, and Galop de Chasse stayed on 133. Now, I don't see any reason why Galop de Chasse is going to reverse that form. And I didn't think Cotmas got close enough to Martator last time out to really demonstrate that off 130 he could win a race. I'm not totally sure. Martator is a future graded horse or back into graded company, whereas I do think Le Patron could well do that. I know he disappointed on his next start off a much higher mark in a feature handicap. This isn't the same type of handicap, and yeah, I think the Tizards knew they had a good one here, and that's why they didn't bother sending Triple Trade. Scarface has obviously been to Ascot before as well and won. He won over, what distance was he winning? He beat Ivaldi in a novice hurdle over 2 mile 5, so he should stay the trip. Yeah, I think he's not got a future graded horse in against him here, and I kind of feel that's what he's been bumping into. Really well handicapped horses or graded horses, and he can bounce back here and get a win to his name and go 5-4-2-1 for the season. He has been backed into favouritism. Let's just have a look at his current price. They've opened it 11-4. I'm hoping we can get a little bit bigger than that. If we can get 3s, I'll be quite happy with 3s, to be honest, about Scarface. So let's just hold out on the price for Scarface for a little bit. Moving on to the 130 at Haydock. This horse I'm quite keen on, to be honest. It's Intimate at Haydock on the soft ground. Now, I think he will act on the soft ground, whereas I'm not totally sure some of the others will, particularly those that I feel are maybe the biggest dangers. Whereas Intimate has regularly run on this soft and heavy going. That's all that the horse really runs on. And I think he'll be absolutely fine on this going, and I think that's key. He got beat by Mount Tempest last time, who, it wasn't a bad performance at all, considering he didn't jump very well that day. Intimate. Mount Tempest had previously bumped into the very progressive Jaguar, and I can't think who was second that day, Lowry's Bar. Lowry's Bar's come out and won that. Mount Tempest came out and won. That looked a good race. To then beat Intimate, I didn't think that was any negative to Intimate. Went up a pound. Ned Fox on claims 3. He's actually running off a lower mark. Didn't see any negatives about Intimate. Found some negatives about the others. Felt with the ground being soft at Haydock as well. We know that horses at Haydock on that soft ground, they need to be able to get through it. Venetia Williams also has a very good record in chases at Haydock. And obviously we know her record when it comes up soft and heavy. So yeah, I was pretty confident of a huge run from Intimate. I want a little bit bigger. I want 5-2. I'll be keeping an eye out for that. But that's definitely my selection in the 130 at Haydock. Moving on to the 205 at Haydock. If you've been following my videos, you know who I like in this. I've already highlighted this one. It is Credo or Credo. Interestingly, Famous Bridge is getting really well supported, and I don't mind that because we're already on Credo at a much bigger price. I thought Chad Bayment rode Good Look Charm really well at Sandown. That was my only negative about that horse that day. Chad isn't a negative anymore in the fact that I've seen him ride a couple of times and he's looked pretty good. And interestingly, Famous Bridge was the horse that I had the form line with. Credo got beat by Famous Bridge back in November 2023 at Haydock by a length, giving the horse a pound. Tomorrow is going to be in receipt of 12 if we don't include the jockey claim, so it's £13 better off for a length. And if we do include the jockey's claim, that's what? £23 better off. Then got beat again at Haydock on the 23rd of December in this race last year. Credo finished 3rd of 133, runs here off 125, so £8 lower. Famous Bridge runs off a £2 higher mark. Already we've got to say it's going to be much closer. And Chad taking that huge £10 off. So what's he there? Famous Bridge up 2, Credo down 8, so that's a £10 swing, plus Chad Bayment's 10, £20 swing for a 4 and a bit lengths, or just 5 and a bit lengths, sorry. I think if you really like Famous Bridge, you've got to really like Credo. So Credo was my selection. He was 16s at the time. He is a bit shorter now at 6s, and you can just about get 7s at... Well, you can't get 7s there, can you? Moving on to the 225 at Ascot. I feel this is one of the only graded horses in the race, to be honest. Strong Leader, I do think, is a grade 1 horse. I think some of the others are handicappers or chasers. The likes of Beauport is a chaser. Botox Haas isn't good enough. Katera probably isn't going to be good enough. Blue King Daru is definitely interesting now that he's a 5-year-old. He could progress into a nice horse. He did get beat last time out, which would have been a concern for me. Got beat by Lucky Place. I know I liked Lucky Place that day, and I said he was better off. He was better than a 140 horse, but would I say that Lucky Place could have developed into a grade 1 horse? Probably not, to be honest. And that would have been a real negative for Blue King Daru to get beat. Now, I know Blue King Daru is stepping back up in trip to potentially the right trip. And has actually beaten Strong Leader at Ascot. That day was getting £1. Tomorrow has to run off levels. But I think the trip will actually, although it will suit Blue King Daru significantly, I think it will also suit Strong Leader significantly. That was over 2 mile 3 when Blue King Daru was able to beat Strong Leader. I think Strong Leader's form since going up in trip has been very good. Ran in a Cleve Hurdle, got beat by Noble Yates and Paisley Park. 2 proper grade 1 horses, even with Paisley Park being 12 years old. Then went to Aintree for a grade 1 and beat Buddy 1. I think he's a proper grade 1 horse. Monkfish back in 4th, Flooring Porter in 5th. I think they're proper grade 1 horses. And then last time out, may have even needed the run and was still too good for Montmirail and Languedan. Now, I think Montmirail is better than his 144 mark. He obviously is a previous winner of the... What did he win? The Triumph, was it? Just having a quick look. No, he won the Grade 1 at Aintree. And then kind of lost his way, but has certainly bounced back recently. Obviously, he's won a Temps final now over 3 mile. So, yeah, I don't feel that was a disappointing, or he didn't win that by far or far enough for Strong Leader. I thought it was a very good comeback run, and I think he's the one to beat here. I really do. He's the graded horse over this trip. I'm not sure about the trip for Blue King Daru. I think some of the others are handicappers. And the Wall Park, I think he's just stepping out of handicap company, and I think he may find that he's going to run into a graded horse here in Strong Leader. Strong Leader is currently 9-4. If you wanted something at a bigger price, it probably would be Blue King Daru, but I just wonder about the trip here. And is he quite up to being a graded horse? We move on. We go to the 3 o'clock at Ascot. Who do I like here? So there's actually 3 or 4 in this race that I've highlighted for future races, or targets that I really like. And I'm stuck with, or I'm going for, Trelawn. On the basis, this is why I'm going to rule some of the horses out. So Victorino has been beaten on his last, however many starts it is now. What is it? 4? Beaten on his last 4 starts. Now, when he won, did the race fall into his lap? Because did they go too hard at the front? All 3 of those from the back of the field came through to finish first, second and third. You read the write-ups. Victorino towards rear on outer. Yeah Man was held up in rear. Phlegmatic held up in rear. I think the race may have fallen apart a bit at the front. So, and since then he's been beaten 4 times, as I said. Now I know he ran a really good race in the Coral Gold Cup, but I wonder whether he needs actually further. And they just went so hard at Ascot that it really set it up nicely for him. He then obviously did come back to Ascot in February for the Swinley Chase and got beat. I know he's back down to 143. I'm just not totally convinced he is as good as we think he is, or some of his runs have been suggesting. Even last time in the Coral Gold Cup, he stayed on strongly from a position that he never looked like he was going to get involved, to be honest. You read his write-up, it says struggling at the 16th, still plenty to do, 4 out. As a 6-year-old, could well be a Grand National horse. Could be a national, a Grand National horse or a Welsh National horse. May just find this 3-mile trip now a bit quick. So that was my reasons against Victorino. Phlegmatic, who is very nicely handicapped and is getting supported a bit. As you know, I'm a big fan for the race at Kempton. Currently rated 134. I think he would go. I think he would take all of the beating at Kempton. Running it last year off a £6 high mark, finished 4th. It's actually worth more prize money than what they're going for tomorrow. It's worth 85 grand compared to 56. Now, you can then go back to that race at Ascot, where he finished 3rd behind Victorino and Yeah Man. Now, did it again fall into his lap, finishing 3rd, in that they went too hard at the front? And also, I never thought Phlegmatic was going to beat Victorino or Yeah Man that day. He never looked like he was actually, oh, this is going to be a close race. You always thought he might run on past some of those that are now getting tired, but he's not going to be able to go with Victorino. He's not going to be able to go with Yeah Man. And I didn't think, that only came off 137. If that had come off 140, and now he's down to 134, I might have gone, he is potentially tempting. I don't think that's enough of a drop, and I feel they might be running here. They're going to sit out the back. It's not going to fall into their lap this time, and I think they may find that he drops another couple of pounds with that race for that race with Kempton in mind, and I think that's where we'll be backing Phlegmatic. So we're then down to 2 that I like. They are the Changing Man and Trelawn. Now, the Changing Man and Trelawn, I said both of them I thought were well handicapped horses this year. They've both, without winning, Changing Man has finished 2nd. He's fallen and finished 2nd. He's gone from 130 up to 135, which is frustrating. Whilst Trelawn has gone from 144 to 152 after winning a graduation chase. Very frustrating. However, the Changing Man got beat over 3 mile by Frero Bamboo. and went up £5. And I feel that was perfect for him. He wasn't able to win. He went up £5. Trelawn went up £8. I kind of feel that that's not too far. Well, obviously it's not that much difference. It's just a £3 extra. I thought they were both sort of that far ahead of their marks. But Trelawn, I said, is a 3-miler. That's the key here for me. Trelawn is going up to that 3-mile trip again. He's going back up to that 3-mile trip. I wonder whether they went to Haydock thinking, we're not going to beat Iroko over 2 mile 5. We will finish second. We'll be left alone. They didn't. They actually managed to beat him. And I just feel that back up to this 3-mile, I wonder whether we've got potentially a graded horse over 3 mile running in this handicap. Now, I know he's got to give a lot of weight away to the likes of the Changing Man and even Victorino. He's got to carry 11-11. Interestingly, there are 2 trainers in this race that have very good records in handicap chases at Ascot. They are Kim Bailey and Venetia Williams. And I just feel that Kim Bailey might have a graded horse running here in Trelawn over this 3-mile trip. I think he's going to be wanting 3-mile too. I would have been running him in the Coral Gold Cup, and I think it would have gone closer than Victorino in the Coral Gold Cup. I think it would have, as you know, I really liked him, and I thought he could have won that race if they'd not gone for that graduation chase. So yeah, I am sticking with Trelawn in this race over Victorino and the Changing Man and Phlegmatic, and I hope Phlegmatic finishes down the field. Don't want him getting too close because I want to back him at Kempton in February. So Trelawn is my selection here. Is drifting a little bit out to 11-2. I'm fine with that. I think he is a very nice horse, and will appreciate this step up and trip. We go back to Haydock for the 355. 355 or 315, sorry. For the 3-mile Challenger Stayers Series qualifier. Now, I like a horse here. I just hope they're not going to get it qualified. It would be the easiest horse to get qualified without winning. And that's Supremely West, because you can see he's very, very consistent. But I do like him here. I think we know he'll love that soft ground. He does love soft, heavy going. He ran on it multiple times last season. And when you get soft at Haydock, it's quite a hard soft, isn't it? A hard soft. It's quite a, it's heavy everywhere else, but it's soft at Haydock. Some of his runs last year were pretty good as well, finishing second to Gwenny May Boy, who went on to win the feature handicap at Aintree, finishing second to Cuthbert Dibble, who I think went on to finish, did he finish third in a, whoops, just looking on my other screen, I think did he finish third in the, yep, third in the Patempts. And on those occasions, he sometimes loses interest, gets bored, and then runs on again. Now, I feel his return this year on soft at Hexham was his comeback run, and he nicely dropped from 129 to 127. He went off the 5-2 favourite that day. He was a bit keen. He didn't run to his level at all, for sure. That was a Class 3. He stays in the Class 3, having been running in Class 2s last year. I think this is the time to catch him. He goes to Haydock. He'll love the soft, heavy going. He's got fitness on his side now. Charlie Hammond keeps the ride. Yeah, I think this is the time that they're going to catch him right, and he's the one I like in the 315 at Haydock. And let's have a look at the prices for this race. And we'll also load up the odds for the final race at Ascot, because that's the other race we're going to talk about. Let's just have a look. Supremely West is currently available at 4s. I think that's fair. I think he might end up going off favourite. Whilst Magical King ran a really nice race at Aintree, he did appear to just fold quite tamely towards the end. And I wonder whether he's just a travelly horse rather than one that actually puts it all in. Whereas Supremely West will be doing the opposite. He might be off the bridle, but he will at least fight when push comes to shove. And finally, the last race I want to talk about is the Exchange... No, it's not. It's the Ladbrokes Handicap Hurdle at Ascot. The 335. It's a lucrative race. 71 grand to win this. Who do I like? I'm sticking to my guns with Be Aware. Be Aware got beat by Burdett Road. Was it Burdett Road? Yeah, Burdett Road at Cheltenham. I don't think he was given the best of rides. Yes, he's gone up £7 for that. Dysart Enos is up £4. I think he beat Dysart Enos by enough to suggest that he can do that again, and I don't think he was given the best of rides. I know Dysart Enos was more prominent, and they might hold on to Dysart Enos a bit more, and she might run a better race. I think Harry will be doing the opposite. He won't hold on as long, and I think he'll be kicking away from Dysart Enos and demonstrating that he is very well handicapped, or was very well handicapped, and he is still nicely handicapped here. I wouldn't be looking too far away from the head of the market here, to be honest. I think the right horses are up there, and yeah, I think Be Aware can show that he's, as a 5-year-old compared to Dysart Enos being 6, there's still more to come from Be Aware. It's a lucrative race. They'll be going here, Betford Hurdle, County Hurdle with Be Aware. They'll be doing the same probably with Dysart Enos, and I think they're both going to run consistently. They're both going to finish 2nd and 3rd, and 1st and 3rd, and 1st and 4th, and that sort of form lines I feel with the pair of them. But I'm sticking to my guns here with Be Aware. I think he was given a poor ride. If he'd won, he could have been rated 140, so he's probably £3, well in still. Whereas Dysart Enos, I thought, ran to the best of his ability and wasn't good enough. So yeah, that is my final selection of the day at Ascot. Currently available at 9 to 2. Be Aware. I will do. Let's just have a quick check. Scarface, Intimate, Credo. Whoops. Strong Leader, Trelawn, Supremely West, and Be Aware are my selections for the day. Fingers crossed we can have a few winners, and obviously this is probably the last time I'm going to record a video before Christmas, so I hope everyone has an amazing Christmas, and obviously we will be back for Boxing Day, so there'll probably be a video on Christmas Day. I'll have to record that, and also there will be the ratings will be live from about 12:30 in the morning on Christmas Day. Thanks for listening, and as I said, I hope you all have an amazing Christmas.